All right, so it is day 2 of the challenge, and I am doing the view out my studio window. Let's not move this. Let's keep it where you can see it. And the first one's gonna be, these are both like 10-minute sketches because I am on my way to go babysit my grandkids for 2 days. So I'm trying to get at least 2 paintings done. Let's see, the sky looks really pretty out there today. Let me spray my paints. And if you haven't joined the challenge yet, it is the Strada Easel challenge. Started yesterday, but they usually give you a few days grace period. So it's nice and blue. The sky is really pretty out there. Let's get a little bit of sky in, and I'm just gonna probably pat the clouds out with my paper towel. Leave some space here. All right. And I don't want a hard edge on those clouds. I'm pretty new at watercolor landscape. Oh, got a little red in there, which is okay. The trees are gonna be down here, so I'm gonna pull this down actually to, I'm gonna have some trees here, my little goat shed there, and now let's see. I can either soften the edges of the clouds like this, or just kind of wipe it with, that's a little too much water, but kind of take a clean, slightly damp brush and go like this, or you can go like this. And then let's see, these are some nice, actually beautiful little puffy white clouds. I love using a little paper towel. Tissue works good too. It's a little softer. There we go. Those are nice. Now these have a few little teeny tiny ones at the bottom, and gonna drop a little more blue sky in at the top because this will dry lighter. Get up into the corners. Don't want to drop a little bit here. Let's see. Clean this off. Wipe that out a little. There we go. Soften that. Soften that edge just a little. Okay. Don't want to mess with it too much because I'm not unhappy with that. And then, let's see. Gonna put in my little goat shed. My little goat shed out there, or it used to be a goat shed. We don't have goats, but it's gonna come down. I am doing this from life, but I'm gonna do a more head-on view of my goat shed. This angle is, well, maybe I'll do it from this angle. Comes down like this, and it looks longer in the back, but it's not. We have a little roof here, and I think the previous owners that lived here had goats, and that's why we call it the goat shed, and it also would make a good goat shed. And we think about getting goats here. Let's see what that angle is, like that, and like this. Oops. Maybe. And these are one big Nothing in the middle here. All right. This comes up, over. Actually, I did this a little. Oops, again, wrong eraser. It doesn't have to be super intense. Let's see, we have the fence is at that angle. It comes from the bottom all the way to the middle of this. 2 and 3. And this is all yellow here, and then we've got trees all back here and some fencing going this way, goes all the way over. And all right, let's fill in the rest of this. That's a little weird there. I'm going to leave it for now. Let's come into, I'm using my Princeton Neptune brush, which holds an awful lot of water. It's a little, I'm actually not liking this right now. Let's switch to a less, one that holds a little less water. Of course, I can't find any of my brushes that I like to use. That's an Aqua Elite. Oh my, well, let's see. We'll try this. Escoda Versatile. This one seems a little less. I could be wrong. I like a little bit better the brush control on this one. So I've got a brown. My house is brown, and I could go over the whole thing because I'm going to actually go in darker over all of this. So let's do this. Hopefully that doesn't leak into the sky there. I go like that. And like this. All right. And let's get the nice, I've got this beautiful yellow in my field that we're gonna plant hay in this spring, but I'm left with this really pretty light yellowy, oh, that's the tape. Let's see, yellow that up a little, and it even looks behind my fence, it extends a little bit before it gets green in my crazy neighbor's yard. Let's see, this goes all the way in there, and we've got a hint of green because we had, boy, the East Coast had some nice New Year's rain showers. So I've got green here, and I've got green over here. He's got a patch of lawn area, and then we've got trees all over the place here. This is pretty dry, but before that dries, well, that's wet. Maybe I'll leave that. Let's put, I had a little more yellow. I have an ungrown, unkempt, overgrown patch of weeds back here with a bunch of trees. All right, so let's see, we're gonna wait to put the dark in here. I think it'll just run. And we're gonna start with some light gray trees. I'm gonna mix a nice greenish gray up, because it actually should even be a little purpley. They're kind of a purpley gray, these trees, and I don't want them too, gonna be very thin. These are super overgrown trees along the back of my tree line, along the back of my property line, that in the distance they look kind of purple. Maybe I will kind of dry brush them in there. Let's see. And then we have some dark green pine trees in front of them. And I might even, let's see. I don't want that hard line there. Go like this. That is probably my number one learning problem with watercolor is hard lines that you kind of have to like start and kind of finish what you're working on. You can't leave it like you can with oils where it just, you know, you can go back over it. I mean, you don't want a really crazy hard line, but watercolors are frustrating to me in that regard. So there's my gray trees in the background. Kind of want to bring it down. Okay. And then we've got, I could scratch out, I've actually got a bunch, probably should wait for it to dry a little bit, although I'm going to make them brown. Let's suggest all the trees, a lot of scrappy trees this time of year in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna go like this. We've got a bunch back here. It doesn't have to be all the branches. I'll put those on. I probably should have waited till I did my trees in here. My trees are gonna look a little funky now. My pine trees. All right, so let's come in. This is dry enough, and I'm going to use this square brush to put in this nice dark area of brown. Really dark, actually. Let's see. Brown that wavers on, oop, this Payne's gray black. So this, oop. Line along the bottom. These square brushes are great to help give you a little bit more guidance when you're trying to do something like a doorway or a roof. The round brushes, for me, just make it a little more difficult. Drop in some Payne's gray here. There we go. And I'm gonna straighten this out. Get that nice straight line going there. Fill in some of this, some of the wood there. And I even I'll come in with a little Payne's gray to deepen that up. And we have a nice shadow under here. And I'm going to really darken. That roof is, well, it's lighter than the wood underneath it, but it's much darker than it is on this paper. So let's come along here. anchor that a bit. Okay, and the trees. I think it's okay to put my nice little trees in there. Let's mix up a dark. These are some dark green pine trees with actually a little yellowy orange on one side right now. So I'm gonna put these, kind of dot these in here. They are, this goes behind my hay right there, or my weeds. Those are actually weeds. That, okay. This has a nice round one next to it, but I'm gonna do the dark green. It's a weird tree out there. It's like a big gumdrop, but it actually has, it's got the sunlight grabbing some yellow on there. So we're gonna go like that. And we've got a reddish orange tree out there. Let's see. I mean, it's actually what it is a, it's an East Coast cedar. I think it's called a red cedar. I can't remember. Eastern sequoia. And they're so funny. They don't lose their leaves in the winter. They're green in the summer, and then they're this beautiful like orange all winter. I'll take a reference photo when I'm done and I'll post it, and you can see what I'm talking about with this orange redwood. I loved the redwoods when I was in California, and so when I saw these when I moved here, I thought, that looks like a redwood, and the wood on it looks like a redwood, and it is a redwood, but it's an East Coast redwood. So this one was here, but I planted 3 more. The a few other areas, my property. Okay, now we're gonna do just a few little light green. Got just some hints. I'm gonna dry brush these in here, because there's some more of those evergreens. We've only had 1 snow here this year, but I mean, most of the trees have lost the leaves they're gonna lose, but we have a good amount of nice pines and evergreens that I love. I love to have a little bit of green in the winter. Now those are very dark. I'm gonna make this pine very dark next to that. Yeah. See, is that? Yeah. That's another one of those like evergreen, big. I have a couple gumdrops out there. It's funny, I look out there every day, but when you look out there to paint, it's different. It's a nice big. Okay, what else do we have out there? I'm kind of sitting, we have another gumdrop tree. What's my neighbor doing over there? Those are some weird, I'm gonna have to figure out what that variety is, because it's either a pine that he shaped into a circle, but it's covered in green, and it's January 2nd here, so that's real weird. And a few more of these behind it. I love painting pine trees. They are fun. Okay, and then we've got just some different, I've got a bunch of stuff going up. Now this is a little darker back here. Let's do some darker Got some darker pines coming up here, not just these scruffy ones in the back. A little darker in here. That like that. And another little pine tree in here. Okay, and let's see. Put some of these. I should probably use a smaller brush for the little ooh, that's a dagger brush. I don't want to use that for the little branches. You know, the one thing that I have a hard time doing is painting and talking. Okay, so to the left of my goat shed is a big got a lot of these naked scruffy trees here right now. And this goes over here. What did I hear once? You don't want to do, there are no straight lines in nature. You want to wiggle like that one I did. This shouldn't be going straight up, but it is. Now these have a lot of branches, and I don't like getting super specific with them, but once I started one like this, here, this tree is going to come in front of here, all the way down to there, and it's got branches going everywhere. In fact, doing this makes me see how much yard work I have to do in the spring, and a little bit of cleanup to do on these trees. That's the bad part of sketching your property. You see all the things that you should be out doing. Now we've got another tree right behind the goat shed that's pretty big, and it's coming off this side. I'm gonna come up, and this guy is pretty big. Get some of his big branches up here. This one, you want the branches to be thinner as they go higher. Not, they should always be thicker down at the bottom, or almost always. Okay. There. Okay, got that. And let's see. I have a shadow coming off of my barn. Let's create a nice purpley blue shadow. Throw a little brown in there. We have a shadow coming right here. And comes all the way up. And actually then comes in front here. There's a little fence here. And it comes back and goes here. And then this actually is more in shadow. Go right over that. And we're gonna drop down some deeper shadow right here. It should be darker at the base and get lighter. And you get to hear my Winston barking like a maniac. There we go. And there's actually a little tiny, oh, listen to that wind. Whoo. Okay, there is a shadow under here. And got a few little, how are we going to indicate some little shadow areas in the field here? I don't want, they're like little bumps. Probably should have just splattered, but that looks okay. And do I want to put the fence in? Yes, I want to put the fence in, but I don't want it to be solid. I want it to be just kind of, I'll go like this. This actually comes all the way off the page. Straighten that up, okay. And, you know, it doesn't have to be. This is quite a long, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna go like this. Boy, when I get my hand fixed, I am gonna be one happy camper. I've got some terrible carpal tunnel, which is making things a little difficult with stabilizing my hand. Okay, and we're just gonna, one here, one here. The fence posts are about 10 feet apart, and we have a little shadow line under there. So we're gonna come under the fence with this shadow. The whole thing is shadowy under there from where the sun is right now. Here we go. Yep. In fact, it's a big, nice, even a bigger shadow down here. There we go. And let's see. Maybe do some little tiny trees back here. We're not gonna fill them all in, but there we go. So that, I'm not crazy about this. Do I want to lighten that? Maybe I do, because it's a little, that's a little dark. Get some clean water and maybe just kind of pat that. That's, I don't know, the blue kind of accumulated down there. It should be darker at the top and lighter at the bottom, but that's okay. This is looking good. Let me just do a trunk to stabilize this. And that is, let's peel the tape. I want to come in here, let's see, put in one little dark, got a dark shadow under here. Oh, maybe we'll leave it because I hear noise downstairs. I think my daughter's home. Let's see. There's 1, 2. Come on, come on. All right, so this is day 2 of my challenge for the Strada easel. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I'll post this later on. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.